A very good morning to you all. My name is Mahir Shankar. I am currently studying in 11 Humanities from JNV Nongstoin, West Khasi Hill District, Meghalaya. The title of my module is The Effect of Nuclear Waste on the Environment on the sub-theme Environmental Concern. Before starting, I would like to give my special thanks to my social science teachers, Mr. Rakesh Mandal sir and Ms. Nisha Meena, for giving us continued support into the completion of this model. Also to my Principal Sir Rajesh Singh and Vice Principal Sir Umresh Kumar for giving us inspiration to finish this model. And last but not least, to all my classmates and friends who has helped me complete this model. Now, the aim of this model is to showcase how nuclear waste can contaminate our environment, and also how the ill management of this nuclear waste can have very grave consequences on our environment. And also, hopefully through this model, we will be able to showcase how the general concept of nuclear wastage, and hopefully students will get the general idea of nuclear wastage. Now, through this model, we are mainly focusing on three aspects of the environment that is affected by nuclear wastage, that is water, soil, and animals. Now, this is a basic model of a nuclear power plant. It is the power generator building that generates the power for the whole of the nuclear power plant. This is a containment building that contains the nuclear reactor and also the fuel. Now this is over here it is the cooling towers, which cool down the heated waste that is emitted from the nuclear power plant. And here it is the cooling tank, which takes up the water from the pond and bring it to the cooling towers. Now, first off, we're going to start with water and how it contaminates water. We're going to start with water. First off, water is mostly contaminated through its usage as a cooling agent in nuclear power plant, because there are some nuclear power plants who do not even use cooling towers, but they just dump their waste directly into a water body, and this can cause huge problems, as the water that is coming from the nuclear power plant that is used for cooling is very warm compared to that of the water body. And this can cause some serious problem, as in warmer water, the amount of dissolved oxygen is very less, and it also speeds up the process of decomposition and also increases the metabolism of fishes. And many organisms who cannot survive these conditions, most of them either migrate, or if not that, they die. And this can cause a serious shift in the biodiversity of the aquatic ecosystem. Now, next we're going to look into the soil. Soil is mostly contaminated through the mining of uranium ore, which is a major component for nuclear power plant, as it is used as fuel for the nuclear reactor. That's why when mining for nuclear core, there might be some waste rocks extra that lands on the soil and contaminate the soil. This have many ill effects. For example, it can make the topsoil, here, the topsoil, it can make the topsoil hazardous and toxic. It can also make the topsoil infertile for plantation, and it can also disturb the nutrient cycling by increasing the density of the soil by the loss of arthropods such as worms, etc. And lastly, it can also contaminate the groundwater, as we've seen here. This is uranium, by the way. This is uranium, and it can also seep down through these different soil layers, through the bedrock and all, into the groundwater, and this can contaminate the groundwater. Next of all, we're going to look into animals. And in animals, it is mostly through, sometimes it can be through contaminated water, it can be through contaminated soil, but sometimes it can also enter animals through the food chain. For example, here it is biomagnification. Biomagnification is the process in which the concentration of a toxic material gets higher and higher by each step in the food chain. What we've seen, for example, if this plant over here is suppose having 10% of radioactivity, this deer, when it eats this plant, it will get 20%, and this wolf will get 30%, and this tiger will get 40 extra. It gets higher and higher up into the food chains. And for example, if a human eats this deer or someone else eats this deer, that human will also get the contamination. And this has many serious effects. For example, many people have experienced having cancer, and then they have genetic mutation and also physical abnormalities if they are in contact with radioactive waste. Now, for treatment, there are many ways of treatment, but the most prominent one for water treatment is bioremediation, which is a process. Bioremediation is a process in which a biological system is employed, whether living or dead. It is employed to clean up or eradicate pollutants in the environment. For example, we have seen in the Chernobyl accident in 1986. Recently, they have used a new species of sunflower to eradicate the pollutants that are available in the water. And for salt, it's mostly used by chemical oxidation, which is the process of using oxidants such as ozone and hypochlorite to clean up, to make these toxic components that are present in the soil less toxic. And also, they have, for groundwater, there are two methods. One of them is air sparging, which is the process of injecting air through wells into the contaminated aquifer below the groundwater. And the second one is pump and treat, which is, as its name suggests, a method in which the groundwater is pumped up to a well above the groundwater, and then it is treated. Now, for animals, there are many ways in which animals are treated, but there are also some medicines in which that can help in eradicating radioactivity. For example, Prussian blue, which is used to remove radioactive cesium and thallium, and also DTPA, which decreases the amount of time it takes to get radioactive plutonium, americanium, and cerium out of the body. Now, to conclude, I would like to say that even though, yes, there are some treatment available for all this contamination, but prevention is much more better than cure. And we should be, and nuclear waste should not be left around. Instead, it should be processed before disposal, and it should be monitored after the disposal also. We should take special care into how we dispose of this waste. And I would like to say that nuclear energy is not harmful. In fact, compared to coal waste and coal energy and other non-renewable source of energy, it is more clean and safe, and it can be used for the future also for the sustainable development. So, as of now, there are many discourse and debates about whether nuclear energy is a sustainable source of energy. But we know that for sure that, for example, other renewable sources of energy such as hydro energy, solar energy, and wind energy are very renewable and safe energy. So we should employ these sustainable courses or sustainable steps for the future, for the betterment of our future and for everyone. Only this much.